Hello dear friends, welcome back to the sim. It's been a while again. I guess it's fair to say that life is getting in the way. I am trying to keep up with a lot of things, and I was not at home for the last 5-6 weeks. I had to go back to Turkey due to a family emergency, and I'm back now. Everything is all safe and sound, good, and trying to record and get in touch with you guys after a long pause again. I apologize if you were expecting some videos. There are a lot of things that has changed, and I guess I haven't flown in almost 2.5 months in the sim due to these real life events keeping me busy away from you guys as well as the simulator. Anyway, I'm back. We are here, and we are going to take a look at the aircraft that everyone is talking about, the A2A Comanche 250. I'm not gonna do a full review. There are a lot of videos that does that. We are just going to fly from A to B and talk about this aircraft and maybe a couple other things. Without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and let's start our journey. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we are currently parked at Lima Quebec Papa Delta Urige Airport. This is one of the bespoke airports that came with the latest world update. And we will be traveling to Lima Delta Romeo India Rijeka Airport, and that's also one of the bespoke airports that was released with the latest world update. Alright, welcome to the cockpit of the A2A Comanche. We will start with pulling up our tablet and going through a couple things there. I'm not gonna go through what the tablet does. I'm pretty sure you guys have a pretty good understanding of that. We will take a look at our fuel. We'll top it off. We have full fuel. We'll take 2 passengers to the rear seats, or maybe just one to the opposite side. And that's the payload. And we'll go and do the checklists. So pre-flight, we have to do the walk around. And before we can do that, we actually need to go down and turn on our battery master. That will give us the battery power that we need. Oops, what's going on? Oh, magnetos. Remove the control lock. Make sure everything is turned off before even just trying to turn the battery power, right? But that I didn't check. Yep, the door will stay open for now. And I guess we are good now. Alright. What is happening? That is interesting. Oh, I'm not sure how that happened, but starter switch got stuck. It shouldn't do this again. Yep, there we go. And we'll also turn on the lights that we will be checking during the walk around. Let's go and do it like you would do in a normal play. I'm gonna do this a little bit fast. We check all the control surfaces, make sure they move freely. Check the lights. Remove the tie downs as we go along this. I'm not gonna check all the fuel tanks, but for demonstration we will just make sure there's fuel in the tanks. There you see the fuel. Move the chocks. We can't do this without turning on the fuel valve. So for the fuel valve, It's down here. And we will just turn on the left tank for now. And now we have to do the walk around again. I think we were somewhere here. Yep. And now we can do this. And I'm not sure if this could fail or if you see any water in the fuel. That I wasn't able to find information about. If you know if this can fail and if you can get water in the fuel or bad fuel, just let me know. I'm curious to learn if this is simulated. We'll check the prop very quickly. Nothing, no damage, etc. I'm gonna check the oil. And this goes down. But we still have close to 9 quarts, so we're good. Yep, we have fuel on this side too. That's a full tank. You see it? Yep. Oh, interesting. Now it's not screwing back in. You guys saw that? Now it is. Interesting. Anyway. Alright, move that. Move the P2 cover, the tie down. Check the lights. Control surfaces. Making sure this doesn't play, the flaps. Static ports. Horizontal stabilizer. Rudder. Move the tie down. The static port on the other side, and we will take some luggage for our passengers. We'll take the backpack, toolbox, and that should be enough. And that completes our walk around. All right, so pre-flight complete, passengers briefed, built. Let's just do this before we move forward. Let me just brief you guys on what we are going to do. So here is the plan. We are currently parked at one of the parking positions. We are taking off from runway 09. Our plan is to follow the runway heading for 3 miles and then make a right turn to 172. Track the OMA VOR 117.9 and make another right turn on heading 275 and follow that for 96 miles until we reach our destination airport, and we will then enter to a traffic pattern, right traffic pattern, and we will land. And we have another VOR that we can use to track for our destination, which we will program here in a little bit. So that's the passenger briefing. That's completed. Seatbelts are secure, control rock is removed, parking brake is indeed set. Gear switch is down, we have the green light. Flaps are up, radios are off, autopilot master off, avionics master off, electrical switches are off, circuit breakers are in, rotating beacon is now on. Alright, we selected the fuel to the desired tank, mixture goes full rich, throttle is correct. Prop full forward, carb heat is off, master switch is on. We'll turn on the fuel pump. We can turn off the lights, by the way. We are looking for positive fuel pressure, which we are seeing here. That's seen. Turn the pump off. Primer, we'll just do 3 strokes. 3, 1, 2, 3. And we also need to close the door. Let's close the door and latch it. Prop area is clear. We'll turn the max to both. Open the window. Clear prop. And hit the starter. Oh, it cached fast. We will ID at 1000 RPM. We'll We'll check the oil pressure immediately. It's in the green. If we didn't get any oil pressure, we'll shut it down. That will help us keep the engine from damaging. And mixture, we can just lean the mixture a little bit while we are sitting here. For takeoff, we will go full mixture, but for now, we can lean it. There we go. So, we'll do the taxi, but we need to turn the avionics master on. Tablet can go on away for a while. Turn on our radios, put the transponder to standby. And let's see. Refuel, fuel 60. That's what's... Alright, there we go. We have the fuel selected for the fuel management computer. Let's bring the yoke. And what we need to do here is we need to tune those VOR stations. The first one is 117.90, so let's transfer that. The second one, which we will put to the standby, is 117.80. That is set, and that's set here as well, and we'll do the opposite here so that we have a backup if we want to, or if we lose any of the radios. There we go. So we have the signal. We will follow the runway heading, and that is roughly 090. And if you have watched the videos, look at that. This aircraft can have gyro drift, and you are supposed to correct it if it drifts. So currently we are facing north, almost 0. Like so. You can do this, or you can hit the D key. That will do it for you. Okay, so that's the gyro drift taken care of. We need to get the QNH, and according to the weather I am seeing online, QNH is 1010. So let's set the QNH to get a little bit closer. 1010. I hope that's matching the real world, or the real world is matching the sim. Yeah, it is matching. So that's the QNH set. All the engine parameters are looking good, all in green. And I guess we can start our taxi run from here. Let's bring up the tablet and let's do the taxi checks. Primer is locked. Avionics master on, M meter is checked. That is right. Where was that? Yep, that's here, showing positive amps. Radios are on, transponder is on standby. Altimeter set, heading indicator is set. The only thing we did not set is the course that we will be flying 3 miles after departure, and that course is 172. So we will set the course to 172. That's roughly here. Landing gear lamp is green. Nav lights as required. Parking brake release, and initial roll, test the brakes. Okay, let's do this. Alright, parking brake is disengaged, and off we go. Test the brakes. Yep, they are working just fine. And we will take this taxiway. That will take us to runway 09. Nice and easy. I'm gonna turn on my head tracking. This airport is rather nice. It's one of the, as I said, bespoke airports that came with the latest world update. And it's a little small airport for GA flying, which I kind of like. I'm gonna brake a little bit. We are picking up too much speed, more than I like, so I'm gonna brake a little bit, keep the speed under control. We'll take the runway backwards and maybe stop there for the engine run up. That's the other checklist that we need to do. This is getting or the aircraft is increasing or accelerating very easily with 1000 RPM on the engine. So we'll take this, see how this runway is, like super small, very tiny strip, very narrow. Can't imagine landing a jet here. I'm gonna cut the RPM just a tiny bit. There we go. And we'll probably just take this and move to the side on the grass to do the run-up, and then we will turn around. Or maybe we'll turn around and do the run-up. Let's do that. And we will take off after the run-up. Well, now I need a little bit more power because we are in the grass and aircraft is having a hard time moving. How about that? I think that's good for the run-up. We'll go back to 1000 RPM, set the parking brake, and we are ready to do the run-up checklist or the engine run-up. Let's pull the tablet. Alright. We are roughly into the wind, which is fine. Holding the brakes, yeah, we are on parking brake. Fuel quantity is checked, we have 30 gallons. Mixture is still a little bit lean. Throttle, we'll just ramp the throttle up to 2000 RPM for the run-up. There we go. We'll check the engine instruments, oil pressure, amps, oil temperature, fuel pressure, all looking good. RPM is looking good. And we will start with the magnetos. We'll test the right magneto first. We are expecting 125 RPM drop. Back to both. And then left magneto. Same thing. Our mags are working just fine. Prop, we will cycle the prop governor 3 times. Alright, that's 1. That's 2. And our governor is working, so we will set it to 1800 now. Let's see if it's steady. Well, it's steady. And we'll check the carb heat. It should drop the RPM. Well, let's go back to 2000. Carb heat on, slight drop in RPM, carb heat off, RPM goes back to normal. Alright, that's the run-up. And then we will also check the idle. The engine should idle around 600 RPM. There we go. And we'll go back to 1000 RPM, and that's the run-up complete. Now we are ready for before takeoff. Controls free and connect. Elevator trim is neutral. It's right there. Rudder trim is as required. Doors are latched. Flaps we don't need. Fuel selectors on desired tank. Fuel pump goes on for takeoff. Mixture goes full rich. Prop full forward. Carb heat out. Engine gauges are looking okay. Pitot heat as required. We will turn it on. Strobes, we will turn it on, and we'll turn our lights on. And we are ready to take off. Okay, so let's put, and we'll just read through this. Full throttle, airspeed indicator, engine gauges check, rotate at 85 miles, positive climb, gear up, props, flaps we don't use, and indicated airspeed of 105, emergency landing area, verify after takeoff if we have to abort and glide back into a landing area if you have an engine failure. But all looking good for now. So parking brake comes off and we are ready to roll. All right, a little bit of throttle to get on the runway. There we go. And increase the throttle slowly to full throttle and off we go. I'm applying some right rudder to keep her on the runway center line. Airspeed alive. Coming up to 80. And rotates. Off we go. Positive rate. Take the gear up. While we are climbing, we will slowly trim. Keep her at 1,000 feet per minute for now. And as I said, we will fly the runway heading and we will wait for this needle to start moving towards the center. That's when we know we should be starting to turn. So we passed 1,000, so we will bring the manifold pressure down to 24 inches. And RPM to 21 to 400. So that's the climb setting. And we will trim the aircraft for 1,000 feet per minute, or roughly something around those lines. Alright, so still following the runway heading. You see that that needle is turning. And what was the heading we were taking? 172. Oh. There we go. That is the 160 and 72. We should see that needle coming down. Still flying the runway heading. And the needle is coming, so we are going to start to turn towards 172. Maximum bank. Look at the turn coordinator. Watch your vertical speed to make sure we are not pitching too high or losing the vertical speed. Steady climb like this, and I'm also trimming. We just overshot that turn a little bit, but so be it, it's fine. And we can set our heading bar to 172. We'll probably need to turn a little bit more to get back on the course, and from there we are going to do 275. So I'm gonna follow the heading bug and set the course to 275. This is rough, so 25, 26, 27, 275 is roughly that, and I'm just doing the same thing, waiting for that needle to come towards the center. When it starts to move, I know that I need to make my turn. Alright, we are going to climb up to 4,500, 5,000 feet. That's the plan. And I should expect to see that needle coming around anytime now. And I'm watching my altitude as well, just trimming down. There's the needle. Oops. Wow, that was rough. Turbulence hit us a little bit, but we will turn and we will eventually get back on course. No worries about that. Coming up to 4,000 and turning. And I'm keeping an eye on the ball, applying a little bit of rudder. There we go. we'll turn a little bit more to get back on course, and in the meantime keep an eye on my vertical speed and altitude to climb to 5000 and level off at 5000, which is coming here in a little bit. So let's correct and level the wings, trim down slowly, because as we trim down we are going to pick up some speed, so I don't want to overshot the altitude. And we will take a look at the autopilot controls. In fact, let's turn the autopilot master on so that it is ready for us. Trim down, because we will lean the engine when we level off at 5000. That's good. We are picking up some speed, and there is the needle. We will turn towards west, and we will fly a little bit past west, and we are at 5000, so pitch the nose down and maintain this altitude and trim for our level flight. Yep, so I'm trying to trim while keeping the nose down, and this is one of the easiest GA aircraft to trim in my opinion. So we overshot that turn. As you see, the yellow line is on our left, so which means the course is on our left, so we need to turn left a little bit and get back on course, and keep trimming. Obviously I'm gonna start thinking about using the altitude mode of the autopilot. That will hold the altitude, hopefully. Oh, it will not. There's something I'm doing wrong here. Not keeping the altitude. That's maybe my trim setting, I don't know. But that's not coming on, so let's cycle this and see if that helps. Alright, we are at 5000 and slowly getting back on course, so which is nice. Alright, let's keep the aircraft trimmed, and I'm gonna start coming back on the throttle down to actually 22 inches of manifold pressure, and then I'll come back under RPM to roughly 2100. So there are a couple different cruise settings for this aircraft, and the one I like to use is drop the RPM to 1900, and let's see if we can at least this time hold the altitude. Fuel pump can go off, these lights can go off. Why am I not able to hold the altitude is my question. There's something wrong I'm doing here. Not sure what that is, but this is not engaging though. I have the autopilot, and we can try another thing here. This happened twice now, so we have the autopilot controls and me. Yeah. Interesting. Do we have to have the mode selected so we can hold the altitude? Yes. Okay. Now that makes sense. So we are holding the altitude, holding the current attitude, but we are going to do this. We are going to switch this to high precision nav tracking that will track the nav aid we have. Let's get rid of the tablet, and I'm gonna disengage the altitude and climb just a little bit so that we can get back to 5000. Oh, that's too high pitch, and let's keep that altitude there now. And now we are ready to discuss leaning the engine. Oh, it's asking us to trim up. Alright, we're good. We are good. So what we can do, let me just stop the head tracking. You can use the lean finder here and use that to set your or lean your engine. You can use this and aim for 55 on the fuel flow, or you can do it by ear. Let's just try this first. What we need to do is start coming back on the mixture, and it's gonna start looking for the cylinder that has the highest temperature and use it as a reference, and it will tell us when it's at its leanest point. And that should be around like 12, probably around 11 gallons per hour or something like that. I'm just coming back slowly, not too fast, just to avoid a false lean, but steadily coming back on the mixture. And we are getting close to that high or peak 11 GPH. We are almost there. It should start showing us this is the leanest it can get, and it's gonna start flashing when that happens. There we go. And as you see, the engine is now rough, so we will go a little bit forward from here to roughly like 10 gallons per hour, and that should be a good lean setting. That will give us 160 miles on the airspeed indicator, but also saving us a lot of fuel as well as engine wear and tear by running at 1900 RPM. So this is one of the settings. There is also a table that you can use in the pilot's operation or operating handbook, but this setting is I'm fine with. So you can also try to aim for -50 here if you want to. I find it kind of hard to get there, so that's up to you. I guess, yeah, I guess 9.6 was getting us there, so 9.6 GPH. Maybe even like, I don't want the engine to run too rough, which is what's gonna happen if I'm not careful. I'm gonna do like 9.6, but not too much. Alright, let's see where we get with 9.6 on the GPH. That's getting close to, probably getting, it's gonna get close to 40s or 30s. And you know what? I am fine with this. I'm okay with this. Let's say peak and exit. So that's a good setting. We have good airspeed, holding the altitude. So we are doing just fine and tracking that signal precisely now. All right, so that's the start of the flight from cold and dark to setting up the aircraft, tuning the frequencies as well as leaning the mixture, and now it's just cruising along like this and getting towards our destination. You can also switch this to a DME. We are not picking a signal from our second VFR, and we probably should have set the same course here. That is, what was that, 27? What did I say it was? Well, it's here, so that's 272, I believe, was the course. Now it's asking us to tune down or trim down. Alright. Trimming down. Is it? Oh, it's trimming up. Okay, let's trim up. Not down. I was looking at the wrong spot. There we go. We should be good now. Alright, so that's 272, and I'm gonna set 272 here so that we will pick up the signal and see where we are at. We are not picking up any signal just yet. Alright guys, so I'll bring you guys back when we are close to our destination. But enjoy the views for now. It's beautiful outside. Nice and green. And yeah, everything looking okay. Oh, by the way, we are using from the left tank. Before I leave, let's just switch the tanks. So we turn the fuel pump on, we go down, we turn the other tank on and close this one off, and keep the fuel pump on for a while and monitor the engine and the fuel flow or fuel pressure to make sure we are still getting fuel pressure, and then we can turn off the fuel pump. And we started burning from the right tank now. Alrighty, I will bring you guys back when we are close to our destination. But so far, beautiful aircraft and flies very nicely. See you in a little bit. Alright, looks like we started to pick up the signal from the second station, and I wanna set the course so that it's centered, something like that. So we are going to switch course or sources here in a little bit. To do that, we will temporarily switch to heading hold, change the frequency, change that one too, and then switch back to high precision, and that should get back us on the course, but this time with the new frequency. As you see, we are traveling towards the station now, and this shows that we are traveling away from the VOR, which is the initial VOR station that we tuned. All is looking good. 160 miles. It's a little bit bumpy ride, and it's showing 16 knots, 7 knot headwind, 5 knot crosswind, and as you saw, the aircraft is jumping around here. That's causing some temperature drops, oh not temperature, speed drops. And also, I forgot to mention, you can also look here to see the engine and how lean it is. Outside air temperature is 16 degrees, so I don't need carb heat at all, and the engine is as lean as it can be, so this is a good power setting. So I'll keep like this and bring you guys back for the approach. Welcome back, friends. We are getting close to our destination, and after we clear this high terrain, it will be time for us to start our descent. As you see on the DME, we have 17.5 miles to our destination, and we need to descend down to 1,000 feet. What was the airport elevation? It should be sea level or something close, so the airport shouldn't be. Airport elevation is 362, so 1,000 feet or 1,300 will be a good pattern altitude, because I'm talking about 1,000 feet AGL, that's 1,300 feet if we look at our altimeter. And we will enter the traffic pattern and land this aircraft. So let me clear the mountain range, and then I'm gonna start the descent and bring you guys back while we are descending. Alright, we cleared the high terrain and ready to start our descent. The airport should be somewhere in the distance, over there at the coast. So let's start our descent. To start the descent, first I'm going to cancel the altitude hold, and I'm just gonna simply come back on the throttle to like 17, inches of manifold pressure, and that should automatically start a descent while maintaining the speed. And I don't want to go exceed 1,000 feet per minute, so I will trim the aircraft accordingly if I'm picking up too much speed and the vertical speed is increasing more than I like. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit challenging to adjust the trim while descending and picking up speed, but I think something like this would do, and we shouldn't exceed 1,000 feet per minute. As I said, we are going to enter a traffic pattern. We are 8.7 miles away, so airport should be somewhere around here. I'm still not visually seeing anything. That could be the runway though. I am not sure. We shall see when we get closer. I'm happy with the descent rate. We are coming down to 4,000, and we will be holding 1,300 or trimming the aircraft for level flight at 1,300 and think about the flaps and other things to prepare for landing, and we should be able to do it before entering the pattern or while we are in the pattern. So let's pull up our tablet and take a look at the approach. Autopilot master, oh yeah, off, fuel pump will go on, fuel selection going to be on the desired tank. Fuel levels, we already checked it, fuel pressure is looking good for now. Prop will be full forward, carb heat we don't need. Airspeed we need to drop below 120. Gear is down, flaps as desired, and then we will check the GUMP. I'm not sure what that stands for. If you know, let me know in the comments. I can't remember. Alright, all looking good now. I'm gonna start slowly turning to 317, but that's 310, 350, 370. We should be parallel with the runway when we do this, and we should keep descending. We are picking up too much speed. I need to watch my vertical speed indicator. There we go. Alright friends, this part is re-recorded due to some issues with the audio, but we are at the same spot, descending down from 2,000 feet towards our pattern altitude. We just passed the airport, so we should be able to make the base turn here in a little bit. I'm gonna go towards the right a little bit to align or stay parallel with the runway, and the runway heading was 14, so we will set the heading back to 14, but for now we will use the course indicator to set it to 140, and we are coming down nicely. I'm a bit concerned and gonna drop the or cut the throttle just a little bit more, and I'm gonna start making my base turn. So if we look to the side, there's the airport, and we should be able to make the turn now. So I'm gonna make a 90-degree turn to finish my downwind and make the turn to the base, and that will help me descend too, but I am descending a little bit faster than I like. I don't want to pick up more speed, so let's trim for that. And we are coming up to 1,000 feet almost, so we should see the aircraft slowing down as we slowly level off at 1,000 feet. So now I should be able to see the airport on my left when the wings are level. And let's take a look. And there's the airport, so it is time, and as you see the VOR indicator is in the center, so it's time to make another turn for our final. We should, oh, our landing lights are already on, so fuel pump goes on for landing. Just turning towards 140. I'm gonna turn a little bit more because we probably are going to overshoot that turn. But we should level off now. We are at 1,000 feet. So that should give us the altitude It is, I guess, time to disconnect the autopilot. There is the airport. We just overshot the turn quite a bit as far as I can tell. So we should go towards left a little bit more. Do not descend. Let's disconnect the autopilot. Pitch the nose out for level flight. And we will travel towards the airport. The speed is coming down nicely, so we should be fine. I'm gonna maintain this altitude. I'm a little bit below the pattern altitude, so I might just climb a little bit just to be on the safe side. But I'm thinking that we will be fine with this. We should cut this throttle a little bit more. I'm gonna go flaps 1 to help with the drag at this point. Trim the aircraft. There's the airport, so coming back on throttle even more. And slowly starting my descent, going flaps 2. And we are below 140, so we can drop our landing gear. Cut the throttles more. I'm looking at the puppies. 1 red, 3 white, so I am a little bit high. I'm gonna correct for that. And go another notch of flaps right now. And I'll completely idle the throttle. Prop goes full rich, full forward, mixture goes full rich at this point, and I'm gonna give some more throttle. So I'm on the profile, 2 white, 2 red, and I'm gonna finish my approach like this. This wasn't the perfect pattern, but we managed to line up with the runway, and it looks like it's a little bit windy because I'm facing my nose to the right, but it's traveling straight as you see here. And as I get closer, I'm gonna get back on the profile, cut the throttle, there we go. Aim for the threshold now, correct my nose slowly, and bring her in. Cutting the throttle, pitching the nose up, because I see 3 reds. And we should be fine now, so easy. Applying just a little bit of rudder, and my rudder pedals stopped working, I guess. And that's the touchdown. And however, I don't have rudders for some reason. Alright, that's not bad. We were all to the right from the center line. And there it is. Alright, let's go back to 1000 RPM and vacate the runway whenever we can. At this point, flaps are retracted. We can turn the pitot heat off. Landing lights can stay on for a while. Fuel pump can go off. And autopilot master can go off. Transponder and everything else will stay until we vacate the runway, and I see an exit right here to our left, so I will use that to vacate the runway. There we go. Taking it easy, and my brakes are you see the brake pedals, they are just jumping when I move my feet, so that's not the behavior I want to see, but I will correct that after the flight. There's probably something wrong with the controller settings. Landing lights can come off now, and we will taxi and park the aircraft somewhere over here. So welcome to our destination airport. Rijeka, however you pronounce it. We are in Croatia. Let me fix my wheel. I'm looking down. And let's find a spot to park this aircraft. Do I have parking somewhere here for GA? If not, I will just swing around and find a spot. It really doesn't matter at this point because there is no traffic around as far as I can tell. And looks like this is a parking area. I am not sure. I'm not seeing any lines on the ground, so let's look around and try to figure this out. No, that's not a parking area. And that right-click bug is also causing some issues. I thought it was fixed, but apparently it is not. Or there's something else activating my brakes. So I'm gonna follow along this taxiway. I know that's the stand 2. I'll go to the end and leave room for the big boys and park somewhere over there. That's a better decision, I guess. And there's half an aircraft over there. This is again another bespoke airport that was released with the World Update 14. If you are interested, go check it out. It doesn't look bad in my opinion. And where this parking spot is. There you go. Okay, I'm okay with that. We'll park here. That's good enough for me. Parking brake is now engaged. And let's take a look. I think we can stop the engine, the mixture out, and the prop lever to reverse position. Beacon strobe can go off. Avionics master can go off.
You need to set parking brakes to request ground services.
Thanks GSX, I don't need ground services. And I think I finally can turn off the battery power. And unlatch and open the door. And that is pretty much it. Welcome to Croatia. And I hope you enjoyed the flight with the Comanche 250. I think this is a great aircraft for GA flying and the best performing and behaving one in my experience with the GA aircraft. The second one I will put the Milviz Cessna 310, but this is much more fun than that one. Anyways, thanks for being here with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. After a long pause, this was the first one. Please consider giving it a like if you did, and stay tuned for the future videos.